I mean, we always say no one's irreplaceable. I think she is. I mean, it's an extraordinary thing, isn't it, to think of an individual who lived her entire life in the service of others. And we talk about glass ceilings. You made the point. Very little recognition is given to the fact that here was a young woman at 25 mixing it with some of the biggest political figures in the world and holding her own. I mean, Churchill was 78. That was her first prime minister. He was born in 1874. Her last prime minister was Liz Truss, whom she shook hands with 2 days before she died. And Liz Truss was born in 1975. It's hard to get your head around it, isn't it, Peggy?
Really incredible. And she had a way of connecting with everybody. And whether you were male or female, young or old, she had a way of finding connections. And, you know, I got to hear a lot about her relationship with President Reagan. He kept a photo of her and Prince Philip in his office every day in the post-presidency. He also had a picture of the two of them riding horseback at Windsor Castle. Right. And so there was a fondness, there was a personal relationship. They shared a devotion to country, a love of horses, a patriotism, and they shared a love of freedom. And even though the Queen stayed out of politics, we certainly knew where she stood, and she stood on the side of freedom. And even during the Cold War, she made her opinions known, and she was a great ally for the U.S. and a friend that we will dearly, dearly miss.
Wonderful, beautifully said. And of course, at the end of the day, Peggy, mortality spares nobody. I just want to raise this issue with you before we go today, before it gets off the agenda a bit. I was staggered to read in relation to student loans in America, 2 points. The cumulative federal student loan debt is $1.6 trillion, involving 45 million borrowers. Now, Biden is going to cancel a $10,000 debt for most of those borrowers. Now, Democrats typically have praised the initiative. Many have argued it isn't enough. But Penny, surely this is a slap in the face to every family who sacrificed to save for college, and every graduate who paid their debt, and every other American who chose a different career path to avoid the debt. Many of these taxpayers in America who are going to be funding the $10,000 have never got inside a university gate. What's the feeling?
Right. Well, people are outraged. And of course, there's a very small handful that maybe are celebrating a little bit of waiving of their college debt. But I think of the plumbers and the hairdressers and the bus drivers who, in essence, are getting a bill from the federal government for $2,500 for somebody to go to Harvard. And I thought the left was the party of the poor that does nothing for the poor rather than strap them with debt for somebody who's gone to college. And don't we always say that college is the gateway to opportunity, and that's the pathway to wealth and to opportunity and to having choices in life? And yet, what are we doing? We're tipping the scales in favor of those who already have the greatest advantages. So I'm not sure what Biden gains from this. It's no new demographic. He already has the academic elite in his back pocket. And so he's outraged many more people than he's helped by this. So I'm not sure what he has in mind, but, you know, Margaret Thatcher said it best. The problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money. He's running out of the American people's money. He's raising inflation. He's raised the national debt. And he certainly is running out of patience from the American people for spending our money on things that are not priorities for us.